Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, put your feet up. It's time for the Other Three Amigos podcast with Declan McCormack, Wayne Mullins, and Dan.
Three lads, one podcast.
On this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast, we discuss the extended VIP section in Turner's Cross. Gok Wayne returns to have a look at the new Rebel Army clothing line. We of course have the Wexican review, take that James Keddy. Wayne gets angry about the team photo, but maybe not for the reasons you think. We go to the mailbag and we have our final MVP of the season. All of this and more on this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast.
Welcome to the last regular season episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast. Season 4, episode 71, episode 247 in total. Your award-winning podcast at one point in time, but hopefully we'll be winning another award very soon. Listen carefully, we're on YouTube. I don't know what's happening over there. It's blocking us, but at youtube.com/the Three Amigos podcast. We need you to like and subscribe over there. That's free. But even more importantly, so we can afford the limo from, I don't know where we staying, the Hilton or the Ritz, Wayne, isn't it?
The Ritz, yes.
Yeah.
That's Diana's old hotel.
Yeah. From the Ritz to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, we're going to need a limo. So if you can go over to Patreon and just join from €5 per month, or if you want to help us out a little bit more, you can throw us a tenner, but you're still getting the same level of shit with that one. Leave a review on podcast apps, only if it's positive, only if it's 5 stars. The proud sponsor of Jack Doherty's boots. We're at €520 for Marymount from us. And of course, that's now really €820 because West Cork Coffee Roasters are coming in with the £300 there as well. Last Damus this week, Declan McCormack, how did you get on this one? Because this was a particularly special occasion because you got accredited to the FAI Cup Women's Final.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, there was no Last Damus this week, Dan, because obviously I was in Dublin on Sunday night. So I stayed over in Dublin, had a family.
Correction, it's season 4, episode 70 then for all the episodes, 246 in total then.
Okay, so here we are on Monday night and Dan doesn't know that there was no Last Damus this week. So tells you all everything you need to know.
To be fair, Demetrius wouldn't have launched the pod by now anyway, Decky. So
this is true. This is also true. Yeah, no, there's lots going on. But no, yeah, it was great. Cup final accreditation up in the media area, lads. Tala's a very different stadium from the media section. I'll tell you that much. No, it's as cold. It is cold up there as it is anywhere else in the stadium, but it's a fine view. It's something you could get used to, like definitely something you could get used to. And the lovely little bags beforehand, bottle of water, bag of Tato, Twix.
You get lovely little bags in the away end as well, but of a different variety.
I'm sure you could. I'd love to know which one of the long established journalists goes through the bags ramming all the Twix. Because somebody did. There was about 7 bags with no Twixes inside in them. So doubt I'll ever find out who that culprit was. But yeah, look, it was a great day. Obviously, Shelbourne won the game. No Last Damus this week. We'll be recording next Sunday night. We'll be recording the end of season review. Obviously, Kieran Kilduff left Athlone Town after the game. Decky being Decky spoke to Kieran, last one to speak to him, last interview. And he didn't tell me he was going, but like I was in no doubt having spoken to him that he was going. Came back in to the Last Damus group. Lads, I have the exclusive. Kieran Kilduff's going to leave Athlone, no doubt about it. I was like, well, look, he's not going to do anything tonight anyway, so let's just leave it until the morning, leave them have their night, don't upset, show a bit of respect and everything else. Had it, sat in it, and Athlone announced about 10 o'clock Sunday night that he was gone. And I was like, no, I do it. But look, what can you do? I learned a lesson. I learned a journalistic lesson on Sunday night. Don't ever sit.
Was that out in footpath or was it actually in the stadium?
Oh no, lad! All this was in the stadium, on the sideline, in the media area. You know,
I was in that media area once, about a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
and,
it's.
I was actually refused.
She was an encounter there.
And an encounter. Yeah.
So no, but it was good.
It's definitely an encounter. That's for sure.
Yeah. All the FAI heavyweights were around, but no, good experience. Definitely good experience. One we'd like to do again, but we'll see what happens next season with Las Damas.
Packy Bonner wasn't there, hiding from you.
Any update on next season, Las Damas, Decky?
Oh, well, look, as I said, we'll record the end of season show now next Sunday night, and yeah, we might have a couple of announcements regarding Las Damas for next season, but we won't be giving it away tonight anyway. Not on this podcast. We'll hold
So we
it
have
for
one
Las
exclusive.
Damas
Give us
listeners.
one.
I only have one at the moment. I'm working on two more, but at the moment I only have one. So if I give you that one, then that's it, you know. So no, absolutely not.
Wayne Mullins, I didn't even introduce you. How are we getting on?
I'm great, Dan. You know, tired now from the season. But yeah, still annoyed at certain things. But yeah,
You did seem angry before we started.
Yeah, you know, just it's Corksy stuff annoys me again. Like, but sure, look, this is a positive podcast. We only spread positivity, so we ignore all the bad stuff till about 10 minutes time, I'd say.
Well, before all that, it is time to go to Academy Watch. Oh, we had it already. Under 20s drew 1-1 with the Wexkins. Under 17s beat the Wexkins 4-2. Under 15s drew with Pats 1-1. I think that was in a cup competition, but I couldn't see the winner. Weirdly, it didn't say the after penalty result. Decky, do you want to come in here and help me, because I have no idea? And under 14s lost 2-1 to Bows.
That was the Michael Hayes Cup final that was played in Turner's Cross on Sunday afternoon. Cork City beat St. Pat's on penalties.
The famous game that nobody could run onto the pitch for. I remember that, yeah. Should have known that, Dan.
Exactly.
Do you remember they were going to cancel a trophy presentation because of this? So if anyone ran onto the pitch, that was it. Trophy celebration cancelled. Dun, dun, dun.
Right, well,
Ben Dummigan scored the Cork City goal in that game. And it's kind of frightening for me because I should say for 3 years in secondary school, I sat next to Ben Dummigan's father. Two of us. So his young fella is now scoring goals for Cork City's under 15s, and I'm feeling very, very old in myself, I have to say. Very old.
You're going to call me watch there so we can get into it.
Oh no!
Go to the mail.
Do the commie mailbag.
Commie Watch with Ivan Draco on the Other Three Amigos podcast.
They're a bit commie now before the end of the year. They couldn't finish out the year on the high. No pitch invasion allowed for the first division trophy. Much different scenes.
They would have cancelled the trophy celebration. It was cancelled, so thank God nobody ran onto the pitch because they would have cancelled the whole thing.
Do you reckon we would have had to have another year in the first division if someone extra?
That's what would have happened. It would have literally, if anyone ran onto the pitch, another year in the first division, because the trophy celebration would not have happened. It wouldn't have existed. The FAI would have said, "Oh, that's no problem, no problem." The fans would have said, "Okay, well, let's just leave." Rory would not have bothered gone onto the pitch. He would have stayed up and talking on the camera. So cancelled. I was in shock myself when I heard this before kickoff. But hey, Iron Fist.
Declan McCormack, bad form, not letting the young fellas run on the pitch.
I think it was more an MFA thing than a Cork City thing, to be fair. That's the impression you get. Now, obviously the Michael Hayes Cup final was the excuse that was used.
Can I butt in there for one moment, please? How would the MFA have the authority to stop the trophy celebration and Cork City getting promoted?
Well, they owned the pitch. They were around people who tried to get onto the pitch Friday night who may have had roles on the pitch. I don't know, be they local journalists and things like that who have covered the club all year were told, no, you're not allowed on. It's MFA rules and things like that. So Look, Scott, I don't have all the answers. I can only tell you what I heard. I
Oh,
mean,
just asking questions. I'm just eager to. We don't talk during the week at all, so I have no idea what happened.
yeah, like you said, you heard the announcement pre-game. It was pre-game 3 times during the first half, I think. Definitely 3 times at half time. Number of times during the second half. About 7 times between the game finishing and
And
the
it
actual process.
still wasn't clear enough
mean, if
because
I-
you couldn't even get journalists on the pitch. There was, so I don't know. Look, I don't know. I just think it's a bit. It's probably the only team in the whole of the globe, entire history of football, that not one fan went on the pitch at a celebration, and that just brings it. It
But
brought a slight tear. It brought a tear to my eye a little bit. It did.
I think that's because no one gave a shit at the same time. If people gave enough of a shit, if we cared enough,
Here, I'm not talking about 40-year-olds.
said.
I'm not talking about 30-year-olds or 40-year-olds or 25-year-olds or flares. I'm talking about kids in 10, 11, 12 whose first experience of a trophy could be now. And I think let them enjoy themselves. I don't know. Like every time there is a pitch invasion, it lasts for about 5 or 6 minutes. And then you get all the security around and you do a big circle, push them out slowly and they're off the pitch. Right? It happens every single, maybe 15 minutes. Who cares? Were they too busy? Were they in a rush to get into the bodega or something, or what happened? I just think that let the kids have their time, run onto the pitch, celebrate with their heroes. And I'm not talking about 40-year-olds or flares or 30-year-olds wrestling on the pitch. I'm just talking about kids. Just they see it on TV. Man City do it. Real Madrid did it. Why can't Cork City do it? It's just sad. Again, it's just another part of the club that's just kind of changing, and it's just me being the bitter old man. I just don't really like it. But c'est la vie.
Do you reckon if we ever won the Prem here in the next while, they'd try stop us?
They
wouldn't be able to.
Do you know, they absolutely would.
We'd try.
The strange thing I found on Friday was when I went in, I went in around 25 because I was like, there won't be many there, and it was actually packed. And I went in to my usual spot, and everyone around was sitting down. I was like, what's going on here? So 5 minutes kickoff, everyone's still sitting down. So I kind of did the whole stretch up, and I stood up, looked around, and no one stood up. Then the person in front of me looked at me, he stood up. Then another person stood up, and another person stood up. And eventually the players came on the pitch, and everyone stood up. But they weren't. I haven't seen them before. All these people. It was really strange, and I was like, "Where are these regulars? Where are they?" It's just a different atmosphere. It's going to take time to get used to it, I think.
Do you think it'll ever? Well, it won't go back. But do you think those people will become full fans, or do you think they're just?
I hope they do. Here, it's always good to get new fans. I'd love to have 6,000 people and having to have a season ticket every week to guarantee a ticket. I'd love that. I'm not one of these fellas who are like, oh, you're the fan for 20 years. No, I'd rather have an overspill of fans, a waiting list. That'd be amazing because it means we're doing things right. But I don't know. I just think it's a bit, it's different. But hey, we've got to have to embrace it next year. But I fear Dublin teams are going to come down and rip the absolute piss out of us, and we're going to be beaten on the pitch and off the pitch. And I think for a rude awakening, what I saw Friday was just different, and it wasn't. I'm rambling on now a bit. So,
but how come you're worried now when we go out and beat a team 6-0? Are you worried about off the field? Are you worried about on the pitch?
No, I think that we're too nicey as a club, possibly. Not to our own fans. To our own fans, there's some people that are treated a bit... Anyway, different story. But I think we're very welcoming, and we're kind of getting all these other people, rugby fans in and stuff. I don't know, I just don't... I'm sure the Donny Ford was taken up by VIPs. I think Decky knows more about that because his seat was taken. And he wasn't happy. There was a message he sent, and I tell you, I actually twice have replied going, can you explain this? And he hasn't replied to it yet. So I don't know.
That was heat of the moment. That was just well, yeah, look, I mean, Scotty said it's different, and it is different doesn't mean it's worse or it's bad or it's anything else. It's just different. And like there was lots of people, regulars in the Donny Ford, who were very, very, very unhappy with having their seats taken on Friday night, and then became more unhappy when the match kicked off and they looked over and half that reserve section was empty, And like there was one person came down to me in the Donny Ford and said, you need to do an emergency podcast on this situation because it's a fucking disgrace. And I was like, well, we're not doing an emergency podcast anyway on my own head. But the person who said it to me was a club volunteer for years, worked for the club for years. It's not somebody I would have down as, off the bat being harsh on the club but like people were livid. Like you've spent all season, every home game. Okay, they're not reserved seats, they're not season ticket seats, but everybody, everybody goes to their own kind of section and meets their own, and whatnot. And I think even if the club were taking a big section of the Donny Ford, which they did on both sides of the standing VIP area, both sides of it were blocked off, which doesn't happen at regular games. They could have let people know. They could have put it out on Friday afternoon on their social media and said, people arriving tonight, be aware that this section and this section in Donny Ford are being reserved for VIPs, basically. And at least people would have known going in, and you kind of wander off. Like what was happening was people were arriving up and going, hang on, this is where I've sat all year. What's going on here? Why can't I get into my section? And just some poor security guard. And the security guard on the section I was at, which would be, if you're standing looking up at the Donny Ford on the right-hand side, was a lovely chap. He's just like, sorry, lads, I can't let you in, and somebody said to him, who's it reserved for? And he said, companies. And that was it. And he's like, I'm really sorry. I know people sit here all year and whatnot. And it's like, look, no, you're only doing your job. No harm, no forward to you. And here's the thing. Look, if we're selling the Donny Ford to companies, then that's progress. It is good, and they're paying money and not doing all those things. We understand that. The club just does not communicate well with the fan base. That was the big thing for me. As I said, they could have communicated that these sections are closed and people would have just gone, oh, God's sake, we have to go somewhere else, and would have wandered straight down to the St. Anne's, or would have went into the Donny Ford. But there's nothing worse when you get up to your section and you're meeting your buddies up there or something and it's closed and you can't get access, and then you have to ring people or contact people and tell them. Whereas if you know beforehand, you've said, all right, okay, look, I'll meet you down to St. Anne's or whatever it may be, or we'll meet you down the front of the Donny, whatever. You kind of have your plans made and it's good. I just don't understand the lack of communication, really, was what I took out of it. No, I don't know what happened at the other section. People have said that people who reserve, you can pay extra for a season ticket and reserve seats, that some people with reserve seats couldn't get into their reserve seats because those seats have been given away. I can't verify that. I don't know, but that's what has been said by some people. I genuinely can't verify. I don't know if that's right or not. But if that's right, then that's probably a big open goal from the club. If it's not right, then okay, everybody just ignore it and move on.
How were the anger levels sitting there when?
They're fine. As Decky says, it's progress. It's just a bit... I just don't like progress, I suppose. Do you know what I mean? I just like it the old way, but that's probably what it is. But I'm entitled to not like it. Like, there's probably a bit of club going, oh, he's mourning again. I'm perfectly entitled to mourn with this football club, supporting it for 30 years. So, more actually, 34 years. I'm perfectly entitled, but it's just my way. And I'm sure, as I said, I'd love to have the place packed out all the time. You might be able to give the old ground a lick of paint with more money, like, That's another.
Did you enjoy your night at the Cross?
I did.
As a whole?
I did. I nearly went into sports and I didn't like the look of it. Sorry.
After all that,
I was nearly going. I was going, but it was 10 to, and I was like,
I was told they weren't that great.
Yeah. Here, that's just opinion. It could be lovely. I don't know. But I was going to try, but I was like, a tenner for that. I'll just hold.
Can I just say, Dan, that I've heard are absolutely beautiful and fantastic, and that everybody should try them.
That's good to hear.
Is the owner of Spuds listening to the pod?
I've no idea, but I'm fucking making sure I'm counteracting whatever you said anyway, just to keep it balanced.
Do you know what? I said on Twitter there a few days ago, I'm not going to complain about food at Turner's Cross again, because it was something I saw on Twitter and it was disgusting. So yeah, I gladly try Turner's Cross food over the stuff I've seen on Twitter.
Just to see the one on Footy's Grand up in Oriel.
That's the one.
With
the one. Oh yeah,
the two slices of cheese within the packet on the chips.
Yeah. You'd wonder, is that planted though? Do you know?
Yeah, it would be Dundalk though. It would be Dundalk if there's anyone going to do it. Decky, did you enjoy your night?
I did, yeah. I mean, we won 6-0. We probably our best performance of the season. So, yeah, like you're a bit ruffled. But even at that, do you know the whole not getting your seat thing? Just at that stage, last game of the season, just shrugging my shoulders, going, all right, threw a few fucks, all right. And then, all right, we'll go way down to the St. Anne's. It's weird watching a game from the St. Anne's. I hadn't watched one from that side of the ground in many a year. And as I said, it was kind of annoying when you looked up and you saw half the spaces that had been taken were empty. So, but look, no, got over it pretty quickly. Keith scored in the 3rd minute and you kind of forgot about it, like, yeah, like I wouldn't be going on the pitch anyway. I think it's an MFA thing. I think they're just like, the whole Michael Hayes Cup final on Sunday thing did get annoying towards the end. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ, if I heard once more about the Michael Hayes Cup final on Sunday, I'd have went out and destroyed the pitch myself just to get revenge on somebody. Like, it was non-stop, incessant, and was really, really annoying by the end of it. But having said all that, fair play to the under 15 lads, brought a trophy back to the club. Absolutely delighted for them, and hope they're all back next year under 17.
Did you get to finish your chat with Roy Keane? When's he coming around the pod?
Roy was there, yeah. You see, this is another thing, getting blocked out of my side. I don't know. He never came back to me. Never did try. I guess he's not. He forgot about us.
Do you know what, Dickie? When he said he was going to find you, I imagine he went, knowing you'd be there.
That could have been it. Yeah? Maybe he was checking in the media area because that's where I was the last time, It was actually almost this time last year, maybe about 3 weeks shy of this time last year. So, look, who knows? Christmas is coming.
Can you imagine Roy Keane on this pod with the delays we have? Like he wouldn't be a happy man, I'd say. It'd be comedy gold.
Sure, Roy's
Dickie's robot voice going.
Roy's the happiest man alive.
Do you still have the contact?
Probably, yeah. Do you know, we never really, can
we just try one last time?
Pursue it all that hard.
What about the Usher contact?
Yeah.
For the Usher.
Oh, yeah. We'd forgotten about that, actually.
I thought we just dropped
We forgot about loads of stuff this season, didn't we?
Well, I think Usher versus Usher ended abruptly for reasons.
Legal reasons, probably, yeah.
But yeah. Speaking of another Usher, Usher was in Dermot was in the team photo today. Is it normal for owners of football clubs to be in?
I had a look
photos?
at my old posters because I still have some kids. There's one right with Pat O'Donovan in it from 91, 92. Lennox didn't really make too many. He made a couple of appearances, not all the time. But I just can't understand. Like, I'm giving out again now. I know I am, but look, it's just simple things. Like if you look at the middle row, it's up and down, up and down, up and down. Like have it level or going up, then going down. It's the same with Usher next to Coleman, next to Tim Clancy, next to Sean Maguire. Put Usher where Tim Clancy is, swap them over, and it's perfect. Do you know what I mean? It's at the back. Then you've got who's in the middle there next to Dara? Is it Cian Bargary? Next to two taller lads. It just looks wrong. Do you know what I mean? I just think the only one they seem to have got right was Dowling in the middle. And then it kind of goes up and down, and it's just there's just too many people in it. Like trying to get that now onto it. Like and the board, I'm going. Oh, give it again. The back wall. Give it all spray. Give it an all power wash. I know I'm giving out. It's the little things I give out about, but it's the little things. Like the seats look lovely. The seats look really red, nice. They look perfect. The signage is even right, even though is that still the old Cork City crest? But the wall in the back, it just ruins it. And again, little things. He's more about little things. Yes, I am. The pitch looks lovely. It's just little things annoy me. But we won the league, great. It doesn't matter. We won the league.
I was on about the owner in the photo and you just went off and all that.
No, because the photo, I saw it today for the first time and it really did annoy me because it's just, you have tall people and small people and medium people. You put the small people at the end, the tall people in the middle, and the medium people in the middle. Right?
Do you care to... We'll go through everybody and categorise them in each.
We're not going to know. If you look at the middle row, right?
No, we won't.
The middle row starts at Cahill, right? It goes up and up and up, and it goes down, 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 and it goes up again to Aaron Healy, and goes down, down, and up again. Like, the back row is actually fine, except for Josh Fitzpatrick. Like people are going to get offended here now by this. Like, just take the picture properly with the heights, right? It's not that... We've all been in school photos since we're like fucking 5 years old. Come on, like, little things.
Decky.
I've a question, Scotty, you know?
Yeah.
Are those small people really small, or are they just far away?
Move on.
What are we moving on to?
I don't know. I came on this pod trying to be... We fucking league, like, and I'm giving out again already. Like, it's just...
Blair McNally, he got media accreditation, we didn't.
Do you know what? What a legend. What a legend. And what a video. Do you see the video? It's superb.
I didn't.
It's class.
I didn't.
No, in fairness, now, he has said before, he has to over-exaggerate the brilliance of it. But it was a fantastic video for like anyone watching it. It looks amazing. And he got the kids involved. He got the older people involved. He got the interviews in. Fantastic. And we're going to meet him over at the podcast awards, or the content awards, because he's in our category. But yeah, the video is brilliant, and he's very good at what he does, and I'm so happy for him because he's a lovely fella. Really is a nice fella. Friend of the pod.
I think that's coming watch sewing up, and speaking of sewing things up.
I'm not sure it is, Dan.
Is it not? Well, you tell me.
I don't know. We got the jerseys to go through and stuff. The kit.
That's what I was going to say. Gach Wayne. Right. That's what I was doing a segue there. I was saying about sewing things up and like, you know, it is time for Gach Wayne.
No. See, nobody told me there was Gach Wayne.
What am I going to do for the off season?
I'm not even sure I have Gach Wayne.
That's grand. Let's just move on. Yeah, it's lovely stuff. Let's move on.
What about the Genzi? Is it under something else?
Hang on there now. I think I have to take it off because there was so much stuff on it. Oh, hang on. Here we go.
Do you want your own
Jersey.
wash down sunshine? Do you want your own
Woolly hat.
wash down? She sighs every day as she passes the way. Do you want your own
Gilet.
wash down?
Can I
like,
just say
why is Cian Bargary? Why is Cian Bargary in the middle of the photo? Right in the slap bang in the middle. I just don't understand. He's smaller than Darragh Crowley. Like, I just don't get it. Like, and if Aaron Healy then anyway.
I had no idea this was coming. Like that, the whole thing was going to be around different height levels. Like, oh my word,
I'm sweating. Folks. Oh yeah,
for some reason I thought you were going to reveal one of the training tops when you took off the zippers.
Here we go. Oh, Christ.
Yeah,
double agent.
Look, it's like the blue, luminous, greeny, yellow colour. What are you thinking?
It's nice. I like both tops. I'm not sure about the quality, but I think the braille along the I think it's braille. I think it is along the yellow line is quite nice, but not sure the purpose. Maybe there's some kind of hitting meaning for someone at the club or something. I don't know, but it's a nice idea. Again,
is it TOTAP or shit or something? We'll never know.
Here, I hope it does. That'd be amazing. But like the training top is nice. I'm not sure about the quality, but the design is nice. And it's always going to be with Howie in charge of that stuff, so I wouldn't worry. But yeah, it's positive. Yay.
It's grand. Dickie, what's your initial thoughts on seeing it? As a non-jersey wearer, though.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't hate it, so that's a good thing. Would I wear it? Probably not, but then I don't wear that stuff, like, so it's not an issue, like. Yeah, it was fine, it was okay. I hope they sell it by the truckload. I hope it moves out of Bishopstown by the truckload into Cummins and Finn's Corner and wherever else it's going. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like, I mean, this is Gach Wayne's speciality. Like, I kind of tend not to get involved.
It's not. It's nice. Yeah,
you were a robot voice there, but you mentioned Finn's Corner. That place has been closed down. How long?
Years ago.
Is it? I'll tell you now. Yeah. I'll tell you what I know.
I used to always get the Cork City jerseys at Finn's Corner. 3 years.
That's pure Cork. Here, we'll just go on to the mailbag. We'll worry about the game till last. We'll go straight to the mailbag.
Postman pattern in black and white cat.
The cat makes race.
Early in the morning, One bag a man is yawning. Him pick up all of the post bag in a him van. A real bad man.
Yeah.
Postman pat, and he mix up cat. Him team light skin. All of the bird them singing, but partner fool him a roll with the big thing. Just in case them try to ride him van.
Duncan Noonan says, plans for end of year pod, ? Santa with the whole group?
Absolutely.
When?
It'll be an end of the year, but I don't know who's going to be on it.
It's a long way away yet, Dan. That's 2 months away. But yeah, like, I mean, last year's Christmas special was special, I suppose was the right word. So we'll try and do something again this year and see where it takes us.
Can we book the studio? Last year it was even a disaster from the get-go trying to book that studio.
That's true, yeah. We must yeah, we might do things a bit earlier this year. But to be fair now, we had the studio booked and your man cancelled it on us about 3 hours ago because somebody had COVID, because he said he had COVID or somebody working for him had COVID or something. So
I always found that a
We
bit
were unlucky.
suspicious, I won't lie.
yeah, look, I mean,
We might book it under Sober Lane or something next time. Or something. Or...
yeah, we might give ourselves a bit more notice and try and book it earlier.
Jason Shanahan says, give Decky credit for predicting that Wexford were due a pumping once ago with the amount of chances they cough up. There you go. Happy with that?
To be fair, now, if you're going to give me credit for something that I said 4 months ago that only happened last week, it's a bit of a stretch. I mean, I'll take it, but yeah, even I'd find it hard not to take much credit for that one, to be honest.
Richie says, will you be reapplying for credentials next season? Credentials for the women's final seemed like a step forward with a fresh start in the Prem. It would be great to see the club and you try a fresh slate so everyone can push together. I think that's very well-wishing there from Richie. But Wayne?
We'd be applying for accreditation for Las Damas. I don't think we'll be applying for accreditation for this podcast because it's absolutely pointless, you know. But I would certainly like to get Las Damas accredited and continue to do what I think is good work that we have done this year in promoting the women's Premier Division.
Wayne, I presume you're still no interest.
Who would want to interview him anyway after the game and stuff? Like, is anyone here bothered?
No, I'm not, to be honest with you. I don't have any desire or any interest in. Yeah, and it's not like I'd love to talk to Tim Clancy, obviously, but just the way everything is gone, I don't have any real interest in doing anything on the men's side of the club. And I actually made that abundantly clear to both the club and the FAI earlier this year when I was trying to get accreditation for Las Damas, and I said it straight out. Have no interest in covering the men's side of the club in that way. Not going to use it to backdoor myself into any men's press conferences or anything else like that. However, you know, it still was what it was for Las Damas. So I'm just hoping next year that the FAI see the benefit that I think Las Damas has been a benefit to the League of Ireland Women's Premier Division. I hope the FAI see that. I suspect Cork City have already seen it and are well aware of the situation. And the ball will be put in both Cork City and the FAI's court next year because, as I said, we'll apply for accreditation. And if we don't get it, we don't get it, so be it. But we will be on the footpath. If we're not in the stadium, we will be on the footpath. And as I said, come here, we're quite happy. We're quite happy on the footpath.
I don't think you need it. I don't need it.
There's lots to be said for the footpath. Pat Chats is a great thing. The number of people who mentioned Pat Chats to me at the cup final on Sunday with a smile on their face and a laugh, and you know, sure, what does it matter to you when Phil Trill will bring onto the bus to do the interviews and the rest of it? So, do you know what I mean? We're easy going either way, to be honest with you.
If you could record it video wise, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, we might start expanding our horizons, all right, maybe spend a couple of quid on equipment and see if we can get some video
Get the
going and that,
DJI
you know.
mic.
But
Plug straight into your phone. You can record it on the video and have a
yeah,
little
we'll
microphone then.
I'm a bit of a technophobe, but we've made strides this year, definitely, with the quality of the equipment we've been using, the microphones and the rest of it. So that's the next step, is to go to video next year. And look,
Get a new
the vast
producer.
majority of clubs, the vast majority of clubs will be willing to speak to us anyway, whether it's inside or outside Turner's Cross. That decision will rest with Cork City Football Club. I'm easy either way. It's on them.
Philly Crowley says, outside of players, where do City need to invest ahead of next season?
Training facilities. For me, anyway. Bishopstown isn't fit for purpose. Like, it's not, like. And here's the thing. To be fair, everybody at Cork City knows that. All the fan base knows it. It's about what are we going to do and when are we going to do it, you know? I mean, Shawnee's come back from Preston, from what was it, one season in the lower divisions over there. He's come back to Bishopstown, like. I believe there's a hole in the floor of one of the dressing rooms, or a hole in the wall or something, you know? Like, it's just run down. It's just not fit for purpose. So I think that's the biggest issue is proper training facilities.
When?
I'd go to stadium, clean it, give a bit of lick of paint, just spruce it up a bit. I know it's the MFAs, I know that, but
the entrance is looking very run down.
It is, and even the photograph of the under-15s game celebrating, you could see the back, and it was all, the stand was filthy. Like, I know it's not. I suppose it's like renting a house. Like, do you want to take care of it? Of course you do. Do you cut the grass? You do. And if you're there long term, look after it, because it's where you play. It's where we played for 37 years. And just look after it. If the MFA don't want to look after it, the club should, because it's just a bit. It's not great. What was once the best ground in the country is no longer near it.
But the sad thing, it's probably second or third best.
I would say you've got grounds now like Sligo, Galway, even Derry now is coming up a bit.
I'd say it'd be Tala between us and the Brandywell.
I don't know. I think Terryland, what's it called these days, is quite nice. Sligo, they're improving it. We're probably level with Sligo, I would say.
Fair enough. Decky, you want to come in there?
Dan, if Turner's Cross is the second or third best ground in the country, it says far more about the rest of the grounds in the country than it does anything about Turner's Cross.
Yeah, agreed.
Connor says, for us to be absolutely ruthless with the players we get out, we need to absolutely be spot on with the players we get in. Our season could be won or lost come February. Has Tim whispered anything to Decky during it about potential signings over candlelight dinner?
Can I just say I've never had a conversation with look, no, it's a perfect answer. No, I mean no to everything. No, obviously, this is just going to come out terribly. Like, no, Tim Clancy hasn't told me anything over a candlelight dinner. Like, you know,
so there's no candles, just normal dinner.
I've heard nothing, to be honest with you, in the last 2 weeks about incomings. Everything's very close to the chest, which is good. That's what you want, you know.
Or else there's no one there.
Like, no, I don't think so. I think, look, obviously they announced Dara Crowley this week as having signed a deal. They announced Matt Kiernan as having signed a deal. You know, I always thought Dara was going to be worth a deal next year for his versatility alone. He provides a lot of cover. Matt Kiernan is one of the younger players, was always going to get a deal. So, you know, they're not surprising deals. There's a couple of players, by all accounts, have been offered contracts but aren't happy with the contract offers. And I think one thing that is becoming clear is that existing players who thought they would maybe get back to the level of deal that they had last time we were in the Premier Division are finding out that they're not getting those deals, and they have a decision to make whether they want to accept the deals they're being offered or whether they want to go test the market and walk away. And it's going to be interesting to see what way that works out, because, like, I think, for example, like, it was everywhere on Friday that Cian Coleman was going to Australia. I don't know if that's true or not. To be honest with you, I was told on Friday he was. Now I'm hearing that. Don't know. That's maybe not the case. But what does seem to be the case is that Keane's been offered a deal that he probably doesn't believe is his value or his worth. So kind of que sera, you know? Do the club give him a few extra quid? Does Keane sign for what he's been offered? Does he walk away? Is he going to Australia? Who knows? But, you know, I think there's a few players in that boat who've been offered deals that maybe they don't think is to the value that they maybe would value themselves at, or maybe value the deal that they thought they were going to get. And those players now have decisions to make. And I guess those decisions will be made in the next couple of weeks.
It's
John
the
Fitzpatrick.
infamous Cork tax, isn't it?
John Fitzpatrick says, which players can we not lose from this team? Besides the obvious Maguire and Keating, who we all know will definitely be here. I'm thinking of a player like Bradley Wade, for example. We can't have the same goalkeeper farce as last time we went up. Anybody else? We've probably been talking about this last few weeks anyway. Maguire, Keats. You want Cahill around. You want Greg around in as many matches as you can. Brad, Charlie Lyons. I'm probably missing somebody
Malik.
else there now. I'll let you sit in that in the silence there.
Yeah, I think you covered them all. Like, Greg is a big one, obviously. We're so much better when he plays. The question is a very light question of how much will he play next year? How much can he play next year? Yeah, Charlie Lyons is probably one who will feature prominently next year. In terms of players that you can't lose, like that you must not lose, I think they're few and far between, to be honest with you. I genuinely think they're few and far between. As I said, I really like Matt Kiernan. He signed his deal, so that's good. I think the vast majority are replaceable beyond Keats and Shawnee, obviously, beyond Greg Bulger. And as I said, maybe
Sean
Charlie
Murray.
Lyons. I think thing about Sean Murray, and like I was a big advocate for getting him here. And yes, we still want him, and he played for so yeah, he played Friday night, and he's a fair shout. He's missed a lot of games, say the second half of the season, you know. No, I don't know, was Tim just resting him towards the end of the season, or was he missing with knocks and niggles and things like that? But yeah, a fully fit Sean Murray, yeah, is a proper shout as well. Scotty, but I guess the question mark's always going to be there whether we can get him fully fit all season, you know, with his injury history. But look, yeah, it's a fair enough shout, definitely.
Dave Nagel says, will one of the ushers be on the final pod of the year? Hashtag Usher. There genuinely is more chance of Wayne using this number and getting the OG, the real Usher on, rather than...
I've contacted a few people, different walks of life, about certain things at the end of the season. Some you know, some you don't.
DB says, are you going to try get back in ground officially?
No.
It's you question here, is it?
I answered it earlier on.
Yeah.
We'll apply to the FAI for accreditation for Las Damas if that's given to us. Then, based on what was said this year, that will allow us to conduct interviews inside the ground. If it's not given to us, back in the footpath. No problem whatsoever.
Speaking of being told stuff that wasn't true, did you see Keating singing You Say It Best again?
Yeah.
Magical, wasn't it?
He's a fine voice in him. He has a cracking voice. Obviously, you know, he would do but he has a great voice.
Jack Keller says, signings and outgoings, don't hold back. Are we going there? Are we leaving it to are we leaving it to the last one?
We've already done it, Dan.
But like, what's the end of year one when everyone wants to know like the ratings one? Is it? We'll do that at the end.
We can't tell people what we're doing because then they won't show up. In case it's shit.
But what ratings one are you on about, Dan? I mean, I don't understand this ratings thing.
I think do we just rate the player season out of 1 to 10?
No, I don't want to
save that for the last one.
I don't. I would just say, look, I've no problem. Like I'm getting rid of everyone bar the 5 or 6 that I named earlier. Brad Wade, Charlie Lyons, Sean Murray, Greg Bulger, Keats, Shawnee. I'm forgetting. Who am I forgetting? Obviously, the
Evan.
younger fellas then, Matt Kiernan, Aaron Healy, obviously Cahill, Evan McLaughlin I would keep, but he's another one I think who I've heard has been offered a deal, and he's not overly enthused by the, should we say, the value of the deal, so that probably has to be worked out as well. Anybody else can go, genuinely. And look, that's not been. It's cutthroat time, it's absolute cutthroat time, and there was players who played in the Premier Division the last time with us, and we were relegated, and it was what it was. We were relegated. They were part of the reason we were relegated, and once bitten, twice shy is very much a mantra I live by. No, just we have to be ruthless. We have to be cutthroat. Now, I know the club won't be that cutthroat because players have been offered contracts, and they are being seen as squad players as opposed to starting players, etc. And I understand the club has to do things that way, but in an ideal world, as I said, bar the players I named there, I'd be happy enough to clear everybody else out.
What about the 700k loss? I should have mentioned this earlier on Call Me Watch. 700k loss from after last season's relegation.
Like Dermot said somewhere, wasn't it, that he expected to write, or was it his first season? Was it 700 he expected to lose in the first season and 400 then? Was it so he expected to lose 400 this year? Oh yeah, so 700 was for last year. Sorry, yeah, that was the Premier Division season last year. So that's what he expected to lose. So that's what he had said. That's what he had said at the meetings, So he's actually pretty on point, and that's one thing about Dermot. His stuff is pretty. You can see he's making a difference. You can see he's doing good stuff, and you can't take that away from him. And if the merchandise stuff works, then he's hit another home run. And I'm kind of starting to come around to believe that in the next 4 or 5 years, with the way the league is going, that in the next 4 or 5 years, there's every possibility we win a Premier Division under Dermot Usher's guidance, right? I can see that scenario happening, and I hope it happens, obviously, for very obvious reasons. There's lots I disagree with him with, but you can't take away, I think, some of the things that he's doing. And he said 700, and I think he said he was expecting to write a check for 750 to cover losses when he bought the club. I think that's what he said, 750, 700. He's hit that more or less nail right in the head. So his projections and his forecasts and all that kind of stuff were obviously on point, and you have to respect him for that. And then his thing was that he was going to lose 400,000 in the second year, which would be this year. Now, obviously, we won't know until this time next year when the figures come out for this year, whether he's done that or not. But he has said when he was on the club pod that attendances were ahead of budget and things like that. So it may not get to 400. Then his big thing was next year, we were going to be self-sufficient. And that's where I think things start to get a little, I can't see that happening, especially with the wage inflation and everything else. But look, I'm always happy to give the man credit for the good he does. And he has done some very good things, I think some of the stuff is mad. I think the Opera House thing was a mad show. But look, you can almost say he tried it. It failed. He's now doing, as I said a month ago, and I think people just ignored it. He's doing the night in the hotel in town that the name escapes, the Clayton, is it?
Clayton.
Yeah, with the Franken Walters for 95 quid a ticket. I don't know whether that'll work or not. But I hope it does again. Fair play to him. 95 quid a ticket it's expensive, but it's a full dinner and it's a drinks reception and it's all those kind of things. So you'd imagine you're paying for what you get. And as I said, I said that here a month ago, was it? So the leaks are still good, and the info is still good, and the club events seem to be still good. So everybody wins. And now I'm going to have to go off because I'm going to cough.
Yeah. Well, he's coughing. I agree with him. I think that he's brave to try stuff, and that we've never had someone who was willing to go out and try stuff. It was always on someone else. The golf events are a bit mad, but look, it's something different. I think the event in the Clayton's a really good idea because, like, Christmas dinner for a business, you're going to be charged about between 55 and 65 euro a head, maybe a little bit more. Frank and Walters, they have to make a bit of cash out of it. There's no point in saying, oh, do it for fans, do it for free. You do a fans event in the pub across the way. I think this event is a great idea, and I hope it does sell out because I think the club deserve a good night out, a good shindig, dress up.
I just think this is the fans event that there will be no.
Do you know what?
Joe
yes,
will go.
But maybe that is down to people like us to do something like that. Maybe it is just to have a pub, go in and get pissed, have a bit of a laugh. I think this Christmas night, I call it a Christmas party. It's not. It's end of season, but to me, it's like a Christmas party. 4-course meal, a band, DJ, whatever. I hope it sells out. I really do, because I think it's a fantastic idea. And it's like he says, you do have to give him credit because he's trying ideas. And some work, some don't. And I really hope the merchandise does well too, because I think it could be huge. I worry about the kids and labels. That's the only worry I have. But give it a shot. The stuff will sell.
I worry about the crests. I have no fear of how we design a class shirt.
It's the Rebel Army logo. I don't know. Look, we'll see. I really hope it could be the nicest jersey you ever see. And it could be massive. Hopefully the quality's good. I really hope it does.
I wonder when we're getting the release date. That concludes the end of the first half. TOTAP come back to us in the second half. We'll have an anonymous DM. We'll find out if Gary Hunt is under pressure. I think he's fairly shagged now, to be honest, and probably something else. I'll think of something.
Hey, toe tapper. As you know, everything is increasing in price. Extra small clothes, anger management classes, raw liver is the same price as gold. And kids' sweets used to have 20 per pack and now only have 5 in each one. And Jack Doherty is on course to score 100 goals. And he's going to bleed us dry. We need you to help the gang by joining our Patreon for exclusive pods, news and much more. For a $5 a month, you can ensure that Wayne doesn't smash up his laptop, that Dan has really small clothes, Eileen is satisfied, and Declan gets lots and lots of jellies. Head to patreon.com/TOTAP to support the cause.
Welcome back to part 2, TOTAPper. We go to the anonymous DM, see if we can guess who this one is. Bit of a bummer of a season, to be honest. Glad it's finished, for fuck's sake. 'Twas a hard watch throughout. That last night versus 1,798 men at Turner's Cross was just great to watch. The old CCFC attitude was back. And Shawnee's goal, heart, and then Kyle's pointy finger, shocked face. Games leading up to the final match were shite. No way of hiding that fact. It showed all where he needs. It's shoring up. With Shawnee and Keith back and the promise of more quality on the way, I'm fairly optimistic of mid-table position next season. But, in brackets, honest to God, travelling to Athlone to watch that shite was a 2 fingers to the travelling contingent. Hopefully that's finished now, in bracket. We love them though all. And just like any love affair, it doesn't always run smoothly. Referring to TOTAP, Guramila Mahago chaps. It's an escape weekly for CCFC fans. Any chance of promoting Tony Tobin's book, lads? All for a great cause. That wasn't meant to be a DM. It finishes off from Billy Darney. What a man.
Can I just say, firstly, you shouldn't have called out his name because we don't call out names in DMs.
He said that wasn't meant to be a DM.
Secondly, you said 1,798 Wexford men. That's not what he said, what he meant. It was the 1798, which is in reference to, Dan, as you probably well know, the Wexford Rebellion and Vinegar Hill in 1798. Not
the pitchforks.
1798 Wexford men, you know. There's a massive... there's history buffs out there now, and Irish history buffs absolutely tearing their hair out. Go get this idiot off the air, you know. So I said I better correct it just in case. Billy, I apologise profusely to you, sir, for my host's lack of Irish history knowledge, you know. So, yeah, what was the question?
So do we bleep his name out or not?
He said that wasn't meant to be a DM. Like I'd say you let it run. I'd say you let it run.
He's always this Billy anyway. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down.
Oh, I can't wait to see some of the stuff in the Premier Division. It is going to be gold again. Prime Billy will be back. We have another DM. I don't know. Will this be included or not? It could be a purple. Whatever happened to the S&C coach? Why did himself and Holland get booted out, and who replaced them?
Don't know anything. What's he talking about? S&C coach?
There was a time we would divulge everything, Dan, but that's 4 years ago before we got a few issues. So let's move on.
Okay.
No, wait, hang on. Decky's.
No, I'm just kind of going nervous laugh. Let's move on. There's nothing to say. What can I say? Like,
tell the truth. Exactly what you know.
Right. Well, look, we're not getting into it. I open up Instagram then. First question. What's the story with Richie?
See, people know stuff and they're purposely trying to bait us into saying it. Like,
well, the thing about Richie is I think we can say Richie's on gardening leave. That was said a month ago, you know. The reasons Richie's on gardening leave are unclear. I don't know, but Richie's on gardening leave. I don't think that's a massive secret.
Are the Instagram question box anonymous? Era will keep them just to be safe on this one anyway. Thinking about why in all of name that's holy is Uncle Dermot in the squad photo. It's just more of a, I suppose, there wasn't really a question in it, but there he goes.
I think it's normal most of the time. I only looked at a few old ones and it's 50-50. You know, if you pump that much money in, I'd be taking the glory too, Dan, to be honest with you. I'd be going for full John Terry, like, you know.
CCFC kit collector, what's your take, on the new deal with Premier Sports for the LOI? Will clubs see their fair share?
It's replacing LOI TV, or it's an expansion to LOI TV. Firstly, you've got to guarantee that all women's games and all First Division games have at least one camera at them, and all Premier Division games have at least 2 cameras at them. It's operated by Premier Sports, which is also a bonus. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a massive leap forward. Like, we've spent a lot of time complaining about the quality of streams and everything else. Now you have Premier Sports, who are an established TV channel or TV company, joining in to do all the games and bring that level of production to the games. I presume they'll insist then that Turner's Cross has Wi-Fi and internet capabilities, you know, capable of generating, you know, and showing the games properly. What I think will happen now is Virgin have done their games where they're using the LOI pictures to show their games, and that's why they've been able to do so many games. So cheaply is the wrong word, but that's basically what it is. They don't have the production costs that RTE have, because they take the LOI TV streams and basically use them, maybe stick in one camera of their own. And then, as you can see, they take the LOI streams from around the grounds and they show the goals at half time and that. There's going to be a better component to that. So they'll probably do a deal now with the FAI and Premier, and we'll have a lash of Premier Division games on Virgin next year, probably much more than what we've had this year. And I think it's great. And yes, look, absolutely, it's going to cost us probably more than the 129 quid it cost us last year. But I don't care. I don't mind about that. I'll pay 159 or whatever it is for the season pass. It doesn't bother me. Like, and like the second it comes out, and I presume there's a reason they haven't put the pricing out today, and they said they'll do the pricing in the near future, or when it's launched in in January or whatever, coming up to Christmas, it's obviously going to go up. The price is obviously going up. But you have now the ability to put it onto your TV. You don't have to Chromecast and all this. There will be an app, and it can be watched on Android TVs and all this kind of stuff. So all this stuff comes at a cost. And without doubt, they'll announce it or whatever it'll be, 149 for the year or 159 for the pass, and fellas will start going, "Oh, it's gone up 30 quid. Look at the price of it." Instead of looking at the positives and just saying, for fuck's sake, this is another step forward. I don't mind paying €30 a year more for the pass because the quality's gotten better, the production's gotten better, the ability to watch it has broadened much further. Now I can watch it on my Android TV and I can do all that stuff. So please, if you're a League of Ireland fan, don't just start getting stuck in the price straight out the gate. It will be what it will be. Pay it, shut up, enjoy it, because it's a fantastic service. It genuinely is a fantastic service. And I don't know how anybody's going to give out about it. But look, inevitably people will. And that's just life. But I won't give out about it. I might give out about the quality if the quality is poor, but I'm not going to give out about the price up front. I will pay what I'm asked to pay.
There'll be no giving out because the owner of Premier Sports also owns Joe and Sports Show. So
right, okay.
Wayne.
I watch it. I do a lot of research on TV rights and stuff. Premier were sold their broadcasting rights to Viaplay, Scandinavian, and they went bust in the UK, so they got the rights back. But they lost a lot of rights, things like the European Championship qualifiers and NHL and all that. So all they really have is the 3 p.m. kickoff, La Liga, and the URC. There's nothing on Friday nights. And they're also getting a third channel, I believe, because they have so many sports on the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we will see a lot of games. I don't think this is going to be a 150 quid subscription. I think it's going to be a Premier Sports subscription. And you get the pass slate. That's what I think that's what it's going to turn into. I think they're trying to get more customers. So if they're paying the same prices, like a Premier Sports is a tenner in the UK, but it's part of the TNT deal here, which expires next season. So Premier Sports is probably going to be going to 15 quid a month. I'd say next season, after this one, the second season of Premier Sports, I think they might just lash it all in. You get the app, you get the TV linear channels, all for 15 quid a month. I think that's what's going to happen eventually.
Okay.
I'd guess.
Well, 15 quid a month, 150 quid for a 10-month season. So that's fine.
There we go. And you get your La Liga, you get your URC, and you get your Premier 3 p.m. kickoff.
Scottish Premier as well, I think.
Exactly.
Adam says, how do we fit in Evan McLaughlin? Surely can't play him left back in the Premier. Decky.
No, I don't think you can play him left back in the Premier. I think he will be a squad player with a view to some form of midfield role. But as I said, I believe Evan's been offered a deal, and there might be some distance at the moment between himself and the club on the value of that deal. So that's one we'll have to watch to see what transpires.
Cork City FC Sean says, how do we keep up to date with Dan's love life when there's no pod in the off season? You just have to go it out.
Follow Shifting Dan Casey or whatever that page is, or Dan Casey Shifting.
Shifting with Dan.
Shifting with Dan, was it?
That's what it was. Yeah. Oh no, sorry, it wasn't reading out the names, but anyway, does security think they are in WWE?
Allegedly,
I don't know. I didn't see anything of security the other night. There was no need for him in the St. Anne's end anyway, so I was quiet.
Jack Doherty to Cove Ramblers / Dundalk ? Decky, he is your boy.
I don't know. All I know is that, well, I think he signed a 2-year contract last year, so kind of presuming he's going to be here, but it'll probably be hard for him to get game time. He just doesn't seem like a Tim Clancy type player. So, yeah, we'd have to see what transpires.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for questions. We'll end it. We'll that's it.
Do we have to review the match as well? Do we?
Yeah, we do. But sure, we won't.
So crack on my part anyway. And when he by his back, he can do his 15 minutes.
Right, Decky's off. I don't know, taking a shit or something. He left it. He left in Ori anyway. I will tell you that. So look, City 6, James Keddy's Wexford 1,798 Army 0. Have that. Maybe if they had a better manager, they could have won. They could have done something, but they didn't.
Yeah. We got what do you call it? A guard of honor. That was nice.
Fair play to him.
Fair play to him. But they were terrible. They really were. And we were magnificent. Keating's goal, I actually missed it because the shot went in. I thought it was saved. I did my whole arms in the air and then it went into the net. So I actually missed that part. Kyle's goal was superb. And then the opposite of the scale, he got Maddox's goal. We nearly missed, but still, he scored. It was the crowd were fantastic. The crowd were amazing. Fair play to Commandos.
Yeah.
I think the atmosphere, the whole ground was buzzing. It was good fun. And yeah, 6-0, you can't do better than that. But I still think the whole not letting the kids onto the pitch, that's just, that sits with me. It just does, But
great new regime, Wayne. It's totally different, like.
Not everyone can conform to it. Like, I'll still be complaining about something else in years' time, and I've always complained. It's just the way I am. But, yeah, we're going places, and I'm happy that we have an owner who's trying to drive us that way. I think it's brilliant, and the fans are there, and it's just going to be a different few years. We'll lose a lot of people along the way, I think, but we'll also gain a lot. So, interesting times ahead.
We'll gain a lot of Munster rugby attending Gilet dad wearers, I feel like.
What harm? See how it goes. And you don't have to be. Our fan group for years has been okay. Like, it doesn't need to change, but if you want to change, just sure, what harm? Embrace it. Embrace it all.
Decky, we were just talking about the 6-0, basically. I mean, probably Cork City's best performance of the year.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it's always fun when you score 6. Like I've been saying for the last month that we were going to hammer somebody. I'm not sure if I
longer.
said it last
I'd
week
say
or
2-3 months. I'd say.
Yeah, because it was. I felt that performance was in us. I felt that performance was in us every week. We didn't deliver on it, but we were very, very good on Friday night. Very good. I mean, the keeper gifts us the first goal. Like, I mean, it's one of those where you're behind the goal and Keith shoots and you go from, oh, for Christ's sake, he said, wow, we scored. Well done, Keith. Yeah, and it's like, that just kind of set the tone. Shawnee was unplayable for them. But like, lads, like, I hate to drag it down, like, but like, Wexford are muck, like, they were second going into that game and they were absolute muck. They couldn't even score a penalty late on, like, and like UCD have finished third in the division, like, and what was in the division? 36 games, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like UCD won. What did they win? 13 of them, I think, was it? They finished second. Like, yeah, sorry, they won 14 games of 36 and they finished second. Like, that defines muck. Like, how can you win less than like, okay, they just won a third of their games and finished second. Like, so that's my worry for next year. Like, we finished 22 points clear, which is a fantastic achievement, and obviously everybody deserves a lot of credit for it. Like, but like, let's not kid ourselves. Like, Wexford were abysmal the other night. They were abysmal, and they were trying. Like, it's not like they picked a weak team, and it's not like they weren't overly bothered about the game. They wanted to finish second. Like, they wanted the kudos to finishing second. They wanted the home leg in the second. The home second leg in the first round of the playoffs. No, they've got that, finishing third anyway. But it was only because all the results went their way that they finished third. Like, I don't know. I thought they were abysmal, But look, they learned a bit of respect, so that's no harm. But yeah, look, we were very good. It was great to see Bagsy score. Yeah, there was a lot to like about it, but I have to admit, at the end of the game, it was just like, thank God the season's over. I don't think I haven't enjoyed the season at all. I'll say it straight out. It's felt like a real slog and a real scourge because we were in the wrong division. You know, it's like we've wasted a year, and that's like that can't be undone now. But personally, there wasn't one moment of this season I enjoyed, to be honest with you. Probably bar Friday night, you know, when you score 6, that's always enjoyable. But like that was as much relief, and it was the last game of the season. You're like, okay, thanks be to Christ. Next time I come out here, we're a Premier Division team again. We're playing in the Premier Division. I'd imagine we'll open at home against one of the big Dublin teams. It's kind of the way they've done it the last few years.
Yeah.
We may even be the TV game. Cork City are back,
I think
depending
in
on who
Galway.
wins the league. I think if Shamrock Rovers don't win the league, I think they might give us Shamrock Rovers at home on opening night. I don't know why I feel that way. I just think they might. That would be a massive game. Yeah, maybe so. But as I said, Waterford had Shells at home first up last year. Galway had St. Pat's at home on opening night. The season before, we had Bows at home on opening night. So the last 3 or 4 years, they've given the side who've come up a big opening game. Yeah, look, maybe that's coincidence, and we'll have Drogheda at home or something, or one of the other lowly sides like Bows again or something, you know. But look, we'll just have to see what the old fixture computer throws up, you know.
What were we talking about? We were talking about the 16 initially. Wayne, who anyway? Regardless, who do you want opening night Turners Cross next season?
Shamrock at home, be nice. Anyone at home.
Would you not prefer someone we might have more chance of beating?
Nah, I could win and just if you win it, then it sets us up for huge crowds for the first 2 weeks. So you gotta run the risk and just go for it.
Fair enough. What value does Cathal O'Sullivan hold now that we're at the end of the season? He was up there about first 3.5 million there at one point.
I think I still think he's the first €1 million Cork City player.
Dickie, would you disagree with him?
Possible. No, look, it's possible. It's possible. Carl's an exceptional player. He's different when he plays on the right and comes in off on his left foot. As you saw the other night, the goal he scored into the shed end, in off the right, cutting in on his left foot, his strong foot, and boom. He's much better coming off that side than he is from the other side. And I hope next season that's the way we play him, that we don't ask him to play on the other side. As I said, I think he's much better cutting in on his strong foot because he has that ability to pick his spot, and he did it brilliantly the other night, you know. And look, he's a very, very, very good player, very young player. He's probably got a lot to learn yet, and he will learn it quickly in the Premier Division next year. Obviously, he'll be 18 sometime before June, so when the summer window opens, he'll have the option of going. But who knows what can happen between now and then, you know? So, yeah, we'll see. But, yeah, we'll see.
Right. Well, your final MVP vote of the season will decide who wins the most prestigious award in world football. Your nominations from tonight's game, they were Sean Maguire, Greg Bolger, Cathal O'Sullivan, and Malik Dyke-Steele. Dickie, I'd say you can hit the intro there anyway. He's ready, maestro.
The most prestigious award in world football. It's the other three amigos MVP.
So the winner of the TOTAP MVP is
Cathal O'Sullivan. Yeah, Cathal won it in the final vote.
Well done, Cathal.
Was he behind?
Was this actually
behind? Yeah.
Did you manufacture this so that would come down to the last day, or was it genuinely just the way it worked out?
You hardly think I'm going around manipulating or what? No, it's just the way it worked out.
I think Greg Bolger won it.
No, he didn't.
We always never go to the last day.
Yeah, it just seemed like too good to be true.
No. We never went to the last day simply because it was always done and dusted before the last day.
Okay.
I mean, you can't cut one game from the season, in my opinion. So, no, I rule in these things with an iron fist. Cahill won the MVP.
When's he
There's a
getting his
2-year
trophy?
wait to collect your award, Cahill. That's the only thing.
He'd still have to get his.
Yeah.
He's never getting that. He's never getting that.
Look, someday we
anyway.
will. Someday we will.
In second place on the MVP from the game is Sean Maguire with 16%, Greg Bolger in third on 10%, and Malik Dyke-Steele in fourth on 5%. I'd be putting strong money on Shawnee taking MVP next season.
You would, wouldn't you?
What do you make of Phil Long giving the MVP to Charlie Lyons? What was that about? Like,
it's the maddest thing I've heard. Like, he had one other mad shout during the year, and again, it was a defender when we won 4-0.
It was Keane Coleman. It was Keane Coleman. I think he gave it to.
Yeah, and it's like I was standing in the St. Dan's, and this was announced, and I was just like, Charlie Lyons, like. Wexford didn't have an attempt on, like, they didn't trouble us at all, like, and, like, Coll's after scoring 2 goals, one is a wonder goal, Shawnee's gotten 2, Keats and Shawnee have played very, very well as a partnership, all these players going forward have been brilliant, but lads, defenders, like, you can't get away from them, like, defenders, like, and to be fair, Phil was a good defender, and I think he has that defender bias in him, like, so he gave it to Charlie. Mad shout, but who are we to argue?
For the final time this season, give us as many words as you like. Jack Kennefick says, done, let's never do that again. Duncan Noonan says, finally through the season, let's take the off-season seriously and head into the Premier Division and stay up. Billy Darnay puts up a photo of a smiling baby. It says, when you realise you were born in Cork. Billy Darnay also says, we were Cork City FC tonight for the first time in years, and it felt effing epic. Richie says, play like that next season and we'll be flying. Can we vote Maddox goal as goal of the season? David Crowley says, let's never talk about the first division. Also, cheerio Dundalk. Anthony Falvey, fair play to the club for ruining the celebration. Very on brand for Mr. Usher. Sean says the security are an absolute effing disgrace acting the way they did because they had to stay on longer than 10 p.m. Scumbags. On a brighter note, it only took 36 games, but we finally hammered the shit out of a team. Topper says, does the pod acknowledge any responsibility for the death of Barry Panenka Coffey's City career? Chris Crowley says, you reap what you sow at Dundalk. Philly Crowley says, we are going up. Brian says, Gupa over. Ian Crowley says, take tonight as the small victory that it is, but this club is much bigger than what we've seen over the last 2-3 years. I feel this is when we need to see the professionalism of the club in its preparation for next season, on and off the field. Dedicated fans and staff deserve it. Damien Mullen says, move on. Connor says, Roy Keane just watched Cahill make a team look like 11 Damien Delaney's. He'll be gone this time next year. And any update on Roy reaching out? Fiona C says, Decky finally got his thumping. Con says, Super 6. Garrett, F the balls. Barry says, thank F, that's over with. Jack Eller says, brilliant. Now next season. Beer-bellied Hoofer says, too little, too late. Ben says, we are so close to one last Cian Murphy fist bump. Joan Langford says, 6 of the best tonight. Now 6 need to go and 6 Premier Division standard players need to come in. Sean says, City's going up and Dundalk's going down. And the Donny Ford Ultra Mega Sergeant Platoon says, VIP overflow area bollocks. A few nice ones in there. That was good. That was a nice selection to round off the year.
Wasn't it just?
Gary Hunt.
Actually, yeah.
From rounding off the year nicely to disaster.
I have no idea what the score was here. I'm excited.
I have to Google it first in there. Hold on, I just misspelled Cove. Right, table. 8th in the table, sitting on 44 points. recently been taken over by I read someone, one American conglomerate, one said Australian, but look, anyway. Is Gary Hunt under pressure? Yes, he is. I think Gary Hunt won't be I don't know what I'm going to say.
Careful now, Dan, careful.
Gary Hunt announces 5-year deal with Cove Raptors.
We're not here next week, but we'll be here the week after.
Yeah. I think that's it. Go on, Decky.
I just want to give the official MVP top 3, just so people are left in no doubt. So Cahill won it, Greg was second, and Charlie Lyons was third for the season. And Cahill won it on the last night because he picked up 4 points. Brad was fourth.
Yeah, they would be in my top 4 for the season. Or Cian Murphy, surely.
Harsh, Dan. You're a harsh bastard, you.
You mentioned Malik.
Yeah.
I like Malik. I do like Malik.
He got 9 points. But he didn't score until UCD away, where he got man of the match, where he got the 5 points for winning it. He finished relatively strongly, but up to that UCD away game, he wasn't. He didn't get a point.
Anyway, did you see Shawnee and Rory's academy? They're going on.
Yes, let's promote it.
SR. Actually, I typed in SR because it was Shamrock Rovers Academy. It was the one that came up.
Yeah, I'm just so happy we've done a research again. But yeah, Sean Maguire and Rory Keating have an academy. Go to it, spend the money, keep them here, etc.
I think there's going to be an open day. I'm hearing there's going to be we should go to the open day.
We should. We had a plan of doing it.
With MVP trophies. Yeah, MVP trophies in hand. Here you go, kids.
Might as well give Shawnee's one for next year.
They might as well,
yeah. Yeah, that's true. But could you imagine if you have a young fella, and he's getting coached by Shawnee and Keats, I mean...
But it's all the dads getting buzzed about it, not...
Yeah.
I'd love to go.
Yeah. Yeah, you can imagine the dads in the WhatsApp group. Yeah, exactly. Dads at work going, my young fella's in Shawnee Maguire. I've Shawnee's number there, because my young fella's in his academy, Phil, go away now, baby. Don't be annoying me.
But yeah, people worried they wouldn't get on. Obviously they are getting on, so it's good to see as well.
Right, Big Brother's on, lads. I'm out of here.
Good luck.
Hasta.
Say adios anyway.
All right.
Adios. What we call that?
The next episode will be available very soon.